What's up, Survivor Gang? It's your boy Dom.
And I'm Miracle. And we are back.
We are officially back. Finally.
It's been a long time coming. But
we are here.
Yeah.
And pregnant.
Yeah, and pregnant. Very pregnant. So to explain why we've been gone, we're pregnant. So
that's why we've been gone.
No, but seriously, my first trimester was hell on wheels. So
literally.
I'll update everybody as far as like what we're having. We had a gender reveal, so we're just gonna let the gender reveal take. So, we are having a boy.
Big head boy.
Long leg boy.
Alright then.
He do got some long legs. We are not here for that.
I know most of y'all clicked on this video to learn about how to get a home.
Right. So, without further ado, we're just gonna get right into that.
Yeah. So, for your first time home buyers, I got some information for you. There are 4 types of loans that you can get when you're in the market to buy a home. You have the conventional, the USDA, FHA, and the VA, which is for the military and the vets. So, to start off, the most common type of loan is the conventional loan, which most people use. So, with the conventional loan, you already know the price of your house. So with that, you have to put a 20% down payment on that type of loan. As well, you gotta have a credit score of at least 640 or better.
Right.
Your next loan would be the USDA.
Wait. So to break down your down payment, when he say 20% down, if your house is $100,000, just to name a number, you would pay 20% of that $100,000, and your mortgage will be calculated into that remaining balance of what's left. And then like if you take your credit score, 640. So just keep that in mind.
And USDA, this loan is basically for your lower income families. So I would say single mothers or people who generally don't make over, I'll just say 40,000 and below a year. And with this loan, you don't have to pay any down payment.
Yeah, it's calculated into your mortgage. So basically, your mortgage payment will be calculated towards the total cost of that 30-year span of you paying off the house. So.
And with that type of loan, you'll only need a 580 credit score.
Yes.
So keep that in mind.
And also, but for the USDA, you have to have a home that's in a more rural area. You can't have a house that's more like in the inner city. Okay. Yeah, you have to be in a more rural area. Like if you're trying to be in a more like the inner city, you're not gonna be able to qualify for that type of loan.
And if your income is more than 4,000, then exactly don't qualify. So next are the FHA and VA, which I'll let my love over here talk about.
So the FHA is what we chose. They'll take up to a 620 credit score to qualify. And also they have a pretty low down payment of 3.5% of what they request for you to pay down. And like I said, if your house is $100,000, then they take 3.5% of that, and then you'll be paying a mortgage on that remaining balance. As far as the VA, they have, it's a special type of loan. They have pretty much the best benefits as far as like, they have no down payment. It's strictly for military and veterans, and then also you can pre-qualify, or you're pre-approved automatically by being a veteran, and a lot of lenders will just automatically
but I think
approve you.
Yeah, I think with that though, you have to be in the service 2 years.
Yes, you have to have at least 2 years of active duty service. So if you are reserved, you can qualify for the VA loan, but you have to have 2 years of service as a reserve member. If you are active duty, just right off, then you can have up to a year.
6 months to a year.
Yeah. And then you can qualify for VA. So we're gonna break down like more in detail for each one. If you see like this is debt to income ratio, your credit, getting the pre-approval, the down payment, and then the closing date. That's like steps for buying a house if you have either one of these loans.
Yeah. So before you even start anything, I highly recommend that you get a realtor.
Yes. Because if you're a first-time home buyer, a lot of times lenders will, if you don't have a realtor, lenders will try to take advantage of you and get you. They won't tell you about the different types of options that you have. We want you to have a 650 credit score, and automatically you're gonna pay 7% down or 20% down.
They're looking for
and they're not gonna tell you. Yeah, they're looking for the 20% off the bat. They're not gonna tell you that you have other options available for you. And then also know what type of home you want to buy, whether it be a new build in a more established area, or you want to get a fixer-upper. Just know like, okay, what type of home you want to buy, and then the range of homes, the range cost of homes in the city versus more in a more suburban or rural area. Because a lot of times, if you look outside of the inner city, for the same house, square footage, everything, it'll be a lot cheaper.
Yeah. So if you're a first-time home buyer, I recommend that you at least get a 2-3 bedroom home. If you want to do 4, and if you want to do a 2-story home, by all means go for it. If you can afford it, it's completely fine.
Right. But just think of your house as an investment. I know whenever we first started, we were looking into that 2-story, $300,000 range, well over 16 square feet. But when you think about it realistically, your house is not like a car, and whenever you buy it, it depreciates. It actually gains value. So when we start like actually the process of like, okay, we really want to do this, you look at your house as an investment. So we went into a more rural area. It's like this equal amount of distance from work. I mean, it's not right in the city of San Antonio.
It's right outside.
Yeah. The property taxes are a little bit lower as well. And without since we're outside of city limits, and then whenever we want to resell, since it's an up and coming area, the equity in the house will be a lot more than what we paid for the house. We'll be able to use that equity towards the down payment of that home that we actually said, okay, we're gonna be here for a while. So
forever. It's gonna be the forever home the next time we move.
Yeah, probably.
More than likely.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind when buying a house.
Yeah, so with that being said, know your price range. So that's where the debt to income ratio plays a part. So you need to know the price of your home, and what I would recommend is try to do a lot of lenders and a lot of loan sites have a mortgage calculation that you can play around with just to get an idea of what your monthly mortgage would be like. So you got your price of your home, and then you add up everything that you have to pay for.
As far as debt, so there will be student loans, car loans, any credit cards, any debt that you have that you're paying on monthly.
Exactly.
That goes into your total debt to income, your total debt ratio, and then your income is just that, like what you have coming in every month, whether that be your side hustle from whatever you decide to do, in your 9 to 5. So the lender is gonna look at all of that, and then they want to make sure that, okay, you can actually afford this house. So they trust you in that you're not gonna foreclose on them, and then also you want to look into that as well, because you want to know you can afford this house. But when looking at that, you want to make sure that you keep your debt as low as possible. And that you don't want to get something that you can't afford. And even if you can't afford it, so like that forever home that we were looking at, it's not something I would say that we couldn't afford, but at the same time, when we have become more established and we've grown our family in the way that we want to, it will be more realistic to go that route. You don't want to invest in something that you're not gonna profit off of if it's your first time buying a house and you're in your 20s.
I guess the next thing we can talk about is your credit. Like we said before, know your credit score, and don't get discouraged if your credit score is below 600.
Right, because like the conventional loans, of course, that's gonna be on the higher credit score range. You're gonna want at least a 640. Then the FHA is kind of in the middle. You want like a 6. They take at least a 620 to be pre-qualified.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And then, but for the USDA, they'll take as low as a 580 credit score.
But keep in mind, the better your credit score, the lower the
Your
interest rate.
Right.
With the pre-approval, let's like go back to saying know your credit score. So like I said, don't just get discouraged about your credit score. Like I said, if you're, let's say you're 580, or I'll put it like this, say you're in the 600 range, and your realtor says, okay, we know where your credit score is, we want to shoot for an FHA. The realtor can work with your lender, and you can get a pre-approval even though you don't have that pre-approved credit score. So what they can do is you can work on your credit leading up
To closing
day, which we'll talk about later. So
your pre-approval process can be as short as 30 days or as long as 6 months.
Yeah.
So basically they're just gonna go off of what your credit is and your debt to income ratio. Okay, we know they can afford this house, but their credit is not as good as where we want it to be. Or they have the credit, but they have a couple of things in debt that they need to take care of.
Right.
That's what the lender is going to weigh out as far as getting you a pre-approval.
And going back to credit, I forgot to mention this earlier. Let's just say you have credit is not as good, or you don't have enough credit to be established, or you don't have enough established credit.
Yeah.
The main thing you want to get is a secured credit card.
Yes.
Secured credit card, not a regular credit card, a secured credit card. Secured credit card is basically, it's a credit card, but you take your own money and load it onto a card.
Onto a credit card from the bank.
Yeah, from a bank.
So I would say look into that in more detail. We're not going to explain it just for time, but definitely look into getting a secured credit card. It can boost your credit up to 30 points within like 30 days.
Exactly.
But yeah, the pre-approval we kind of explained.
Yeah, okay. So next we talk about down
Your
payment.
down payment.
20% versus 3.5%. I guess what I was talking about was how your down payment reflects your closing costs, everything that the builder, lender rolls into it in order for you to secure your home. So some of that down payment actually goes towards the value of the home. So you actually see a price reduction in the overall cost of your house. And some people with the 20%, they either the 20% down. Sometimes they roll. Sometimes people outright just buy their the closing costs and everything, and some people just roll it into their mortgage. But that increases your interest rate and the overall the total payments you have to make on the house per month.
Right. And then as far as closing day, that's really exciting because when you get your keys, you say, hey, you're officially a homeowner. But a lot goes into closing day because for the most part, you start off coming. It's like you make an appointment for your closing day, and you are there about
2 hours.
Yeah, roughly 2 hours. Just signing paperwork. That's really what you're gonna be doing. They're gonna go over literally everything y'all done from the pre-approval to credit score, everything. You look over how much property tax goes into your house, and whether that will increase or decrease, and then just what you're gonna be paying each month, and signing that 30-day or however long.
30-year loan, 15-year loan.
Yeah, 30 year. However long your loan lifespan is.
Exactly. But while in the events leading up to closing day, the reason why we talked about the previous 4 points is that you cannot have anything negative on your
Credit report.
Your credit report. You cannot charge anything to your credit.
Right. So that from your pre-approval to closing day, you can't make any new purchases or anything as far as like whether that be you decided to get gas with your credit card, like that you cannot make anything, nothing can change on your credit report from your pre-approval process to closing day. So just keep that in mind. If you get groceries each month with your credit card, make sure you put that money aside. That way, you have money for groceries and stuff that
and
you're not gonna be paying for.
If you do make a purchase on your credit card,
you're gonna have
pay
to
it down.
Because you're gonna have to explain to the lender and in detail, hey, I bought groceries for this, and a lot of times they'll even ask for the receipt for approval.
So that goes in with all the pre-approval paperwork leading up to closing day.
Right.
Like every little thing that you spend on, you have to explain. You have to show the money that was in your checking account and where did you take it from? You took it from your savings. You have to show that this value came from my savings when I put it in my checking.
Mm-hmm. Which is why we say this it's a tedious process.
Exactly.
But the good news is closing day. Once you sign those papers and once you have your keys, you can honestly, because what we did,
by all means, charge the credit card.
And
but
that's how we
don't get ridiculous with it.
Yeah. You can make costs. You can spend money on it after that. So.
Exactly. I'll give you another tip. Whenever you do have credit cards or any type of credit, mainly credit cards, keep your balance at 10%.
Good rule of thumb. That will negatively affect your credit. Is that lenders want to make sure that you are not going over 30% of your total balance on your credit card. So if your credit card is $100, they want to make sure that you don't spend over 30% of that $100. So good rule of thumb is to stay at least 10%, 15%. Don't go over that. I would suggest too, like if you have a credit card, make that big purchase of 30% that first time, and then pay that off when you have reached your bill statement, or even pay it off in threes. That's something that my dad just told me, like paying it off in threes. And then once you get to that last 1/3% of that 30%, just making the minimum monthly payments of what you have. So.
Yeah. So hopefully this information was helpful for you guys.
Yeah, if you have any other questions or any other suggestions as far as like tips and tricks on first time home buying, by all means leave them in the comments below.
So just in summary, make sure this is what you need to do. Know the price of your home.
Right.
Know your credit score. Get a realtor.
Save.
And save.
And Buying a home could be as simple as calling up someone saying, I have all this together, and the filling out the paperwork. A lot of people think that because I'm in my 20 somethings, I can't buy a home right now. But it's a lot of options out there. So do your research and don't get discouraged by your credit score or by the debt that you have or the money that you have coming in, because that doesn't mean that you can't buy a house. So.
Exactly. Go in with the plan, and the home buying process should be easy if you know what you want.
Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, as far as like tips and tricks as far as buying a home or
Forex trading is what I'm getting into.
anyway.
Any more income type stuff that you guys want to see?
Leave them in the comments below. But like I said, make sure you like this video, shout us out,
follow us on
our social media, and we will.
Instagram.
Yeah. So until next time.